Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Keisha, and in today's video I'm going to share one of my life personal stories, health issue that I have been having for some time. And just because my channel is all about fashion, beauty, lifestyle, nursing, and anything that I choose to put out there, yeah, so I just find that this video is very timely and fitting, and I just want to share it with my audience, and also hoping that as a woman or someone will be able to maybe learn from my personal life experience, and being able to identify with some of the things that I'm going to share. So guys, as I said, I'm going to share one of my life experience with you. I'm just gonna bring you through how I found out that I had a fibroid. And so basically, from finding out that I have a fibroid to having a myomectomy. So guys, if this is a video that you're interested in and you would like to know more, hear more about, why not press that subscription button so that whenever I upload a video, you'll be first to be notified. So yeah, so if you're joining me for the first time, welcome. So yes, I just find it fitting, as a woman of color, let me put it like that, because sometimes there are certain disease processes or conditions that are prevalent among African, Black, Caribbean women. And it's a conversation that we can have, and sometimes sharing your personal experience can certainly help to benefit a woman, or even someone who is probably going through the same situation or ordeal. So guys, as I said, my video is all about me talking about one of my life journey, living with a fibroid, from having this particular fibroid leading up to having a myomectomy. All right, so this all started where with fibroids, it's not a cancerous tumor, it's a benign tumor, and it's found in the uterus. All right, sometimes it can be in the fallopian tubes, once it's within that female reproductive organ below, it's found there. And these are just some, as I said, they're non-cancerous nodules that they grow different sizes. They're very vascular in nature, and guys, they can cause like so much havoc for us as women. They can cause like infertility, so many different things they can cause. And there are different ways that we can actually treat these fibroids. And there are some people who everybody has their own way of maybe dealing with these fibroids. But it also depends on the signs and symptoms that you as a woman may experience while having these fibroids. So as I said, I'm just going to talk about my personal journey and how I come to find out that I had a fibroid basically growing in me. Yes, growing in me. So it was in December last year, I went into urinary retention, acute urinary retention. And for me, I would have, I went out, I was having a few drinks, and then when that time come to go to the loo, I realized I was struggling. I was I was like really struggling, and going in back and forth to the loo, can't pass any urine. So I said to myself, sometimes it's not the normal thing. So I started panicking. So all right, so fast forward 8 hours onwards, I haven't passed any urine. I'm feeling the urge. I just can't pass any urine. So your girl, she decided that, okay, I went home, I had a shower, and I decided I'm going to go to the doctor, because I'm saying to myself, I started having like, I'm starting feeling so uncomfortable. I'm starting to have a bit of anxiety, because I know this is not the usual thing that normally happens to me. Anyways, when I decided, I went to the doctor, and eventually I was seen by the doctor, and the doctor, she did inserted the catheter. She did inserted a catheter, and I would have passed out an immense amount of urine into the catheter, which we know, as I said, it was an acute urinary retention. So then she decided, okay, I'm gonna send you to see a urologist, because she wasn't sure as to what's the situation, as to why I just happened to go into urinary retention. And at that time, I remember that I had done a pregnancy test, and it came back positive. And me again, that's another whole story, but it boils down that it was a false positive. All right. And I went to the doctor the following day. I saw the urologist. So I did an ultrasound. And when I did an ultrasound, he told me that I had like four fibroids. And then he said that I had a big one, and it was very huge. That's what he said. It was about 6 pounds thereabout, and I had like 3 other small ones and whatever. And he gave me a referral letter and all of that good stuff, because I was on vacation, so that when I get back, I would go to my doctor. Anyways, again, I linger. I did my own thing. I didn't directly go back to that, because I said, okay, the situation resolved. Then I went, after, I think it's around in February time, I went back into urinary retention, guys. So you can see that one of the symptoms is you can have urinary retention, acute urinary retention, or sometimes you have like frequency where you'll be going to the bathroom very often. Sometimes you go to the bathroom often, and also you feel the urge to pass urine. You do pass some urine, but you don't necessarily empty the bladder. All right. And sometimes again, it also depends on the position in which this fibroid is situated. So anyways, I went into urinary retention again 2 months later, and then, guys, that was stress again. So for me, I had some issues. I'm gonna say it. I had some issues with my health insurance. So then I had to give it some time where that was concerned. And me going to the NHS, I know it would have even prolonged the situation. I mean, yes, I went to my GP, and they organized for me to have another transvaginal ultrasound, and but I mean, I already knew that I had a fibroid, so for me, I just find like, okay, maybe it's waste of time doing a second ultrasound. But I went ahead and I followed the flow. I did exactly what they asked me to do, and I decided to do that. And when I got there, the radiographer, she was only able to do the outer bit of the ultrasound. She did not venture in to do the transvaginal, because I think on palpation, she said that the fibroid, it was like pressing the position where it was. She did not want to cause any trauma, so I understood that and I accepted that. So I decided now to All right, so being a nurse, I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to the anatomy and physiology, and also the pathophysiology of things. And obviously, like any human being, we will do our research and we will want to get this problem resolved. So I decided that I was going to book myself an appointment. So I did book myself an appointment to see my gynecologist. And also, he is, this gynae doctor is one of the quote unquote best here in the UK. And I was so happy that I was able to get an appointment, even though when I tried to book my appointment, they were all booked out. But just luckily that someone decided to cancel their appointment, which would have given me that opportunity to book my appointment. So guys, I walked in to my appointment on that day. I sat down with my doctor, Dr. Sepov, and I was so happy that I would have, I went on the internet to see, and also I got some referrals, like persons, sometimes it's also good to get other people's opinion, and I did get some other people's advice, the referrals, put it like that, and in terms of which gynae doctor I should go to. And oh guys, I was to let you know, I even had a cystoscopy, because as I said, the fibroid was actually pressing on my bladder. Guys, I used to be in so much of distress. So I had that, I forgot was to mention that I had a cystoscopy, and it went well. Obviously we already knew I had fibroid, but the urologist wanted to make sure that there's no bladder, underlying bladder involvement because of the pressure that was put onto my bladder. So that went well, and then obviously I had to be referred to the gynae doctor. So I went ahead and I decided, as I said, I was going to book in myself to see the gynae. So I was able to get an appointment to see my gynae doctor, and I sat down. He wanted to know every detail from the time I discovered that I had a fibroid and all of the things that has been happening to me, the signs and symptoms, and so on. And we sat there. He listened, and he explained to me, that this is what usually happen, and the percentage in terms of young females, or female in general, especially within the childbearing age, and the risk and so on that are involved in having a fibroid. And I was really happy. I felt so comfortable, and I felt so relaxed, speaking to him, because I know then and there we were going to come up with a solution to help me to deal with this situation. And sometimes, as I said, as a black woman of color, let me put it like that, sometimes these are the conversations that we need to have. Sometimes these are the conversations that we need to have, that we can able to enlighten and help and encourage others who are going through the same situation. And so we came up with a plan, and so within a month, so I saw him. Within a month I was able to get my surgery. I was able to receive have my operation, so to speak. And so he explained to me everything in detail, and bearing in mind, for me, I have this friend who would have had she had a myomectomy, and it led her to have a total hysterectomy. And for me, that was one of the things that were in my mind. It was mind-boggling for me, because at the end of the day, I know I do not have any kids, and it's something that I will want to do, or will want to have in that time, when that time comes. And having myomectomy, that's just one of the things that was in my mind. And you know, he reassured me, and he just let me know that, you know, with everything, obviously we know with every surgery there will always be risk in every surgeries, but it doesn't mean that these risks are going to happen, right? So you know, he gave me the statistics, and you know, I was literally pleased as to the outcome in terms of me from going to have my gynecology consultation and leading up to have my surgery. So guys, so during that process, you know, there are numerous things that had to be done. So I had to have an MRI. I had to have an MRI. So the fact that we already knew that I had a fibroid, I would have had an ultrasound, and so now I had to have an MRI. So guys, well, for me, this is basically the first time having an operation. I'm going to have an operation. So I mean, as a nurse, for me, I was a bit as a nurse, I was a bit, you know, timid. I was a bit anxious because, come on, I've never had a general major operation of this nature for the first time. So I had to have an MRI, and the MRI took about 45 to say, let's say, almost an hour. And guys, listen, I mean, the persons who had done the MRI, you know, they were lovely and very accommodating, reassuring, and you know, again, as I said, it's something that is very cluster. Luckily, I'm not claustrophobic, but it's something that is very cluster. So that's the MRI. So I was able to have this MRI. So again, upon my consultation to see my gynae doctor, that I had to have my MRI report and everything, and also the referral from my urologist to my gynecologist. So I went and I saw him, where he explained to me in the MRI. So now here I am thinking that I only had 4 fibroids. So on the MRI, when they did it, it was seen there and then that I had nine fibroids, and they were scattered different places within my uterus. And there was the very, very large one, which was very problematic, is the one that, you know, which would have been of the greatest concern. So yeah, so guys, this is just the first part of the video leading up to when I found out that I had a fibroid or fibroids, to when I received my date to have my operation, you know, booking in myself to see the gynecologist and all of that. Yeah, so if this is a video that you're interested in, feel free to continue to look at the next part, the part 2 of my video, where I would have had to be admitted and all of these things. So if this is a video that you're interested in, why not stick around and like my video, comment, share, leave whatever comments, or ask me whatever questions that you need to ask. Maybe you would have had similar experiences. Feel free to share. Let's join in the conversation, because I'm certain that someone will benefit greatly from my and your experiences. All right, so thanks for watching this video, and look out for part 2 of my video